What if the cure to cancer was stuck in an uneducated child? From that moment on, specifically, I actually took a lot of interest in trying to get closer to my goal of curing cancer one day. I think that is still one of my biggest goals to this day.
Well, I never knew that.
Yeah. From that moment, I realized, like, if you wanted to do something, all you have to do is just do it, kind of thing. I personally believe that if I really want to make an impact in my dream of solving cancer, I would need a ton of money. Basically, the thesis of it is, what if we could see the images of what is happening in your dreams?
Granted, they're probably, I haven't read it in depth, and usually these things tend to be exaggerated, or maybe like they're missing some levels of rigor.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did some hack somewhere.
Overfitting.
Sure, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Still though, like very impressive. Like this is, as people say, like this is the worst it will ever be, right? Motivated by that sense of beauty for the world is extremely admirable to me. Like pursuing science to understand more about the world because you find it so beautiful is, like, I very much admire that. Actually, first I have to say thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Here.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Let's go.
And then next I'll say, how was your day?
Day has been interesting. I've been just doing work, just chatting with Codex all day, basically. Yeah. And then YouTube.
I had a full day. I don't know if I told you about this. I have this reading group.
Okay. No, I haven't.
I haven't told you about it?
I don't think so.
Oh. Basically, at the start of the semester, I started a reading group where every week people will present on a topic they're interested in. The people tend to be interested in ML research because that's where the group started from.
Okay.
But like one person present on post-quantum theory of classical gravity, which is like reconciling general relativity with quantum theory. Another person presented on like Nash equilibrium, multi-agent reinforcement learning.
No way.
Today the presentation was on Gödel's incompleteness theorem, which is about how there are some statements which you can't prove.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was what I did earlier.
Interesting. Like what kind of statements?
Formal mathematical statements. Specifically, the statement, this statement cannot be proved. It can't be proved. It just exists. It's true. But it can't be proved. And if you consider this statement cannot be proved is false, that means it can be proved, but that means the statement is false, and you're proving something that's false, which is illogical. Therefore, it must be true. So the statement must be provable. And Gödel, who's an ancient German mathematician, not ancient, he was like 500 years ago.
Okay.
He came up with a formal language to put the statement in and prove it in mathematics instead of just language.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But the reading group is all these niche topics, so people can just get exposed to them. Yeah.
That's cool. And have you presented in the reading group?
I did, yeah. I presented on complexity and open-endedness. I guess I can explain a little bit. So,
okay.
Computational complexity is a term which just describes how complex problems are to compute. So if you want to, like, let's say, sort a list, the complexity of that problem is how fast the most efficient algorithm can solve a sorting list, right? Mm-hmm. In general, complexity in our world describes how complicated or interesting something is. Like, if I'm looking at Kyle's face, I see the contours in his eyes and his mouth and nose.
The big forehead.
Yeah. There are like objects of interest which I can focus on, which are interesting to me or complex. But you wouldn't say, let's say, like noise on a TV is very interesting. You would say like Kyle's face is more complex than the noise on a TV.
Okay.
Even though the noise on a TV is higher entropy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the open-endedness part is about, there's a lot of threads here, but essentially given complexity is what we care about. We care about like preserving interestingness in the universe. Like we don't want the universe to just evolve into this like slothful sludge of just noise. We want to preserve structure. the goal of open-endedness is to create a system that doesn't just like converge to one state and then stay in that state forever. So, for example, current AI systems, they learn via reinforcement learning on some reward function, but they converge to an optimal solution. In other words, like once they optimize the reward function, it's over. And current systems don't also learn online when you interact with them. Open-endedness, as opposed to that, is how do we create increasing levels of interestingness in the world? So like evolution, right? Evolution is very simple. It's just like operates on the rule that whatever structures survive are the ones that persist over time. So, and a good way to persist over time is by reproducing yourself or replication, right? Very simple. At least it seems so. But in the rollout of that rule, you get all this interestingness. You get bacteria, butterflies, whales, Kyle Zhang, you know, and a million other types of organisms. And so, like, the goal of open-endedness is to uncover how we can create a system like evolution, which increases in diversity and interestingness over time and continues to produce interesting, not new things, as opposed to converging to like one set equilibrium.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. How did you get into this?
Mm.
How did you like discover about open-endedness?
That's a good question. So, for context, I was on a gap year last year.
Right.
And in the last third of my gap year, I lived in SF and essentially I just had infinite free time to do whatever I wanted. That was the intention with the gap semester. One of the things I did was make this world model modeled after a DeepMind world model. So for those who don't know, again, a world model is a AI model which, instead of predicting text, it predicts the next state of some world from the current state of some world. So let's say like my world is just the frame of a video. Then you'll just predict the next frame of a video. But let's say my world is the room we're recording this podcast in. Then a world model of this room would predict the next state of the room given the current state of the room. And if you think about what's necessary in that task, for an AI model to predict the next state of this room, given the current state of this world, it's going to have to model Kyle and me with like essentially perfect accuracy. So it would need to know the contents of our mind and exactly what we're going to do in each moment. The key intuition behind world models is that in predicting the next state of the world, they must model the intelligence and rules and physics behind every change in next state. And so I became interested in world models after having worked in robotics. I'll not talk about that for now, but I made this an open source version of this world model called Genie. Okay. Genie is a well-known DeepMind world model.
Yeah.
And after I made that world model, I met a few people, and one of them wrote this paper about why open-endedness is necessary to reach artificial superintelligence. Mm-hmm. Essentially, artificial superintelligence is intelligence that surpasses the intelligence of a human on pretty much every metric. And so if you read this paper, I really encourage you to read this paper.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll send it afterwards.
Yeah.
You start to understand why open-endedness is so necessary for like the continuing, let's say the continuing flourishing of humanity. Yeah. That's how I got into open-endedness. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. And then, so over your gap year, world models, did you end up like, where did you go?
After
all that kind of stuff.
As in, what did I do after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. After I made that world model, so I posted on Twitter. And
I reposted it, right?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
That let me meet a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was on my birthday. I released it. It was very fun.
Oh, wow.
But then after that, I wrote this predictive essay. I wrote a predictive essay on the next 20 years robotics. Like, where do I think?
Oh, I reposted that. I remember.
I think you did, yeah. Essentially in the style of AI 2027, if people know what that is. yeah, I released that after. That took about 1.5 months. Um, and the whole time I was also just reading a lot, meditating a lot, meeting a lot of people in SF.
Okay.
It's a peak lifestyle. I would encourage everyone to do something like that after maybe their junior summer. Yeah.
How do you meditate? Because like I think it's a different
Oh,
style, everything.
that's a
Right?
good question. I think some people have a notion of meditation that's more or less, let's call it significant. So some people think meditation is just I sit down and I try to clear the thoughts in my head. That's what a lot of people, a phrase they use, like, I want to clear the thoughts in my head in meditation. You could do that. And I think that would be useful, especially in dealing with your day-to-day mental states. There's another form of meditation, which is trying to examine what exactly consciousness is. We kind of live with consciousness all the time. It's who we are. It's what we are. But we don't look at it. We just experience other things through it. It's very rare that people take the time to examine, to turn their awareness inwards and examine what exactly consciousness is itself. That, as I see it, is, let's say, like why I meditate. The way you do such meditation, this is based on a book called The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss. It's a very,
Okay.
very like bold claim, certainly. But the technique is essentially you will close your eyes, open them, and observe, let's say, whatever object is in front of you. And
Okay.
just observe your awareness and what it is like to observe a thing. Then you'll close your eyes, and
Okay.
then you'll try to, there's two things that I try to do. One is you try to turn your awareness inwards, away from all objects and thoughts. It's very hard maybe to know what that means, but I think after time practicing, you start to understand what that means, to turn your awareness away from objects and thoughts into back on awareness itself.
Okay.
The second thing, which is really a method to do that, is just stop exerting effort of any kind and just relax into the moment. Like relax into the current moment. Stop judging anything, processing anything. Stop trying to produce thoughts. Just observe. That's all you do. And in doing so, you start to like see what consciousness is, independent of your conditioning as Kyle, or who you think you are as a person, or just the thoughts that are coming to your head or your surroundings, etc. Yeah.
Do you focus on a body part or anything?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Some people focus on the breath,
Yeah.
and I think that was.
That's what I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You also meditate?
I can answer my own question now.
Oh, yeah, please. What's your answer to your own question?
So I think of meditation as, so you close your eyes and then it's like a highway of stimulus that comes into your brain, like from one side to the other. And then you're just looking at all the cars that pass by on that highway. And the cool thing about the way I do it, I think, is really, really interesting. I think of the highway passing through this part of my head, and then later this part of my head, and later like maybe this part of my head, and then like just like wherever. Oh wait, I don't know why my eyes are starting to hurt. Okay, yeah, and I haven't applied it to. I've only applied it to like my face. Haven't tried it for like the rest of my body, but I end up feeling different things in each different region, which is something.
What do you feel in each region?
I literally started doing this like 2 days ago, so can't really say too much about the data that I have right now, but
of the data that you do have, even though it's a small sample size.
yeah. I think with the higher I go, the more like weird the ideas get, and then the lower I go, the more concrete they are.
So there are
Something
ideas
interesting.
associated with each highway.
Yeah.
Can you say what are examples of ideas associated with each highway, if you remember?
When I went really high, I thought of fictional movies that don't exist that sound pretty interesting.
Oh.
Something like, again, really, really interesting, and like, it doesn't exist. Parasite, right?
Yes.
Go to movie. I was thinking about, imagine if the host family goes on a vacation, and then the parasite family like ends up turning into an insects, and then the host family hears like insect noises everywhere, blah blah blah. They're like, "What the heck is that?" And then, like, while they're driving, the insects like just like smash the window and like take over the car and that kind of stuff. But it would be an interesting movie concept. Anyways, right? Like, I observe what went through my head, and of course, it's kind of like when I say it out loud like this, it's you're like you might be thinking that's a crazy random idea, and that's the whole point of meditation, right?
I do think that, but it's good. Like,
Yeah, that's the whole
we
point.
should be coming up with those ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I flow down here, I think of just emotions that I try to categorize that I felt throughout like the past day, throughout the past few hours. And something when I think of like right here, I think of how to speak better. My mouth, I guess. But
What are examples of emotions that flow through your days that you
ooh,
categorize?
ooh. I'm still working on it, of course, work in progress.
Like, what do you think are the defining emotions for you?
Contentment and anxiety, I'd say, are the main ones I feel on the regular.
Those are quite opposing feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this simultaneous or it flips on and off?
Well, I probably only feel one of them at a time. Yeah.
Why do you think? So, everyone has their model of everyone else. Like, I have certain impressions of Kyle. You have certain impressions of him.
Yeah.
One of my impressions of you is that you're like a quite free person. Like, you tend not to restrict yourself in any way,
Yes.
and you don't follow rules.
Yeah.
You're forging your own path. Essentially, it's like a good analogy is like a bird flying in the sky, right?
Yeah.
But not a bird on migration, a bird just exploring.
Yeah.
And so it's surprising, but I guess maybe it shouldn't be surprising that you both feel contentment and anxiety. Because do you think first I'll ask this question: like, why do you think you're such a free-spirited person? Yeah.
Well, I've done a lot of thinking on it, and I have tried the conventional path that people say. Get a job, do whatever.
What was the conventional path for you back then?
Probably just get a job and enjoy life after like the 5 o'clock starts. That's probably
What do you think created that impression in you that was the typical life?
because it's just what my parents wanted slash everyone else is doing. I'd say so. It wasn't too hard to go against the norm. Go against the norm. So
Go against the norm as in after you experienced the normal
yeah.
life.
And then I think for college, I made it a big.
Yeah, for context, that was in high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in college,
Impressive. Most people don't get there for a long time.
True.
But can you say a little bit more about how that happened?
Like
how in high school did you experience the normal life of someone maybe in college or afterward?
Well, okay. I had an interesting high school life as well. From the moment so in 5th grade. Oh, this is getting deeper. I like this. This is getting deeper. In 5th grade, I went to an elementary school that wasn't mine. Just like to visit or something, to maybe play a sport or visit.
Like you were going to the school, or you would visit?
Just like I visited this school.
Like after your school hours.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. And one of the quotes that I read on the wall was, "What if the cure to cancer was stuck in an uneducated child?" And from that moment on, I was like, shoot, I think I really do care a lot about my education a lot. and that I shouldn't take it for granted. And from that moment on, specifically, I actually took a lot of interest in trying to get closer to my goal of curing cancer one day. And I think that is still one of my biggest goals to this day.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
And so that was a goal that started when you saw that poster?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I was
Wow.
like, I'm not gonna be that uneducated child, and I'm gonna make sure I cure cancer.
Is it sort of like
thing.
curing cancer is the metric by which you prove you're educated, or is it also like you also care about curing
Well,
cancer?
I care. I
Yeah.
care more about curing cancer. Yeah, of course. Yeah. From that moment on, I took a deep interest from 5th grade to 9th grade. Took a deep interest in bio specifically and computer science because I realized if I were to get there, I would need to know how to work a computer and make a computer do stuff for me. Because also quantitative bio is like a big thing as well. So I realized, okay, computer science and bio are like my big things I really want to learn from 5th grade and on. 9th grade, I end up I think it's really lucky. Oregon has a cancer research institute. There is it's called Oregon Health Science University,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't live too far away from it.
This is in the Portland area.
Yes, OHSU is in it's downtown Portland. I lived in suburbs, so it's like 20 minutes away. And I met one of the researchers there, and I was in 9th grade, so he was like, "I don't know how you can help us, but we can take you in and see how and just show you around. You can hang out with us all summer." And just they just trusted me that I wouldn't do anything that I guess would f up their results or anything.
Wow. Why do you think they put so much trust in you?
I don't think they've met such a young guy that wanted to be an intern, I guess, in a sense. Because the way I said it, I didn't say oh, I want to intern for you guys. I just wanted to check them out, and I wanted to check them out again tomorrow. I wanted to check them out again the day after tomorrow, and within a week, I figured out a way to contribute, which is pretty interesting.
Wow.
This was over the 9th grade summer, so technically internship, I guess, if from the conventional terms.
It's very cool because by doing that, you showed when you say I want to do an internship with you, it's like, oh, I just want a degree. But when you use your strategy, you show you're actually interested in it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're able to contribute within the first week proves your, technical competence or you're actually useful in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And from that moment on, so this lab was like a laser microscopy lab on pancreatic cancer specifically.
Oh, wow. So you're already working on cancer by this point.
Yeah. And they, how the industry is very slow, bio specifically, it's just slow to run a lot of experiments, iterate on that, because one day you can probably run one experiment, and then who knows how many experiments you need to actually get a result that can actually get you further along what you think you want to do, right? So these PhDs, right, spend 5 years to come up with this one thing, that one tiny thing in the grand scheme of cure for cancer, one tiny thing, right? So we're still that far away, but of course AI is changing everything currently. But this was back then. Okay, yeah. So I figured out a way to contribute to them. Basically, I did FLL and FTC robotics.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mainly FLL, actually. My FLL experience, because I realized that I could just automate a motor to pump a syringe and then schedule it at the right time. So then what happened was the people the PhDs, I worked with one PhD, and then he had some other students, and then the the PhD had the research mentor, who's the actual like doctor and stuff, right? I worked with that PhD, and now with this idea of a Lego motor
I see where this is going.
scheduled every 8 hours to pump the right like chemical at the right time, they can get 3 experiments done because each experiment takes around 8 hours. So what they used to do was they would have to wake up early, start the experiment, and then go on about their day, do other stuff, and then check back, and then start the next experiment, and then go back home, and then sleep, whatever. Now, instead of doing 2 experiments a day, they can get 3 experiments because my motor at midnight can just. So that was what I pitched to them. And, back then, right, there wasn't vibe coding. There wasn't like these bio PhDs didn't actually know how to have a motor, program it to pump at this specific time. It's a lot of work back then. Like CS was a lot, like, a non-trivial amount of work, especially if you were about a PhD, you just don't have the time to think about that stuff. And you don't have ChatGPT to say, hey, like, give me a motor to do this, right? And because I did FLL, I was like, I'll just do this. And I did that. Took the whole summer to do that because, anyways, learned quite a bit about, I guess, CS in general. But from that moment on, I learned a lot about, like, I talked to him a lot about, like, what he thinks about bio, like, why he's interested in all that kind of, like, all these questions. Really got to know him. Got really, like, so much. I've never learned so much in, like, a summer. And I actually felt so much closer to solving cancer, or pancreatic cancer in this case. But I guess that's most of the story. Yeah, that's most of the story.
Wait, so after that summer, because my original question was how.
What was the original
The
question?
original question was like, how were you in high school doing what most people are doing in college? Or
Oh yeah, that was the original answer.
so you built up to it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Continue.
Feel free to, like, wonder / ask more questions about that.
Yeah.
Of course. So from that moment, I realized, like, if you wanted to do something, all you have to do is just do it, kind of thing. So
You could just do things, as people said.
yeah. And after that, I was quite the nerd, I'd say. I took APCS after, just mastered, like, Java, all that kind of stuff. And then after, I did a quant internship in 10th grade. So from a pretty interesting experience.
Yeah, how did that happen?
I mean, it's just like my dad knew another friend who knew this person, and then my dad's friend just, like, messaged him about this opportunity.
What was it like?
What do you mean?
Like what when you were
Like,
doing
the quant internship?
Yeah.
It was just like it was like quant research. So it was just a ton of coding and running experiments again. But from that experience, I learned, like, crazy ton about, like, finance and just Python in general, running a ton of stuff and doing, like, having insights about it, and then running more stuff. And I had like a 1050 Ti back then, so it's like couldn't run too many experiments. But
That's still impressive.
yeah, this is COVID as well.
Yeah,
so I right after this COVID starts. So I
2019.
Yeah, I remember this right after COVID just. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay, from that moment on, so COVID was just like COVID, and then after that, now it's senior year of high school. I start, like, Linus Valorant with a friend in the UK. We played a ton of Valorant, from 2020 to 2021. You even saw me play Valorant the other day, bro.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That was that was amazing. But I made this site for Valorant players. It's still the number one site to this day for specifically finding lineups for Valorant. But from that moment on, I was like, holy, like you create something that you want yourself, and then do a little more work to get it productized in a sense, like all the auth and all that kind of stuff. Get it productized, ready for the world, and if the world loves it, like boom, like. And something pretty interesting about the entrepreneurship part of this is like user feedback is good, but we launched with just like ourselves and just our own taste of it. I think being selfish in this sense, building this product for yourself and optimizing this product just for yourself gets you a long way to distribution / getting users to love the product, and then you can iterate on user feedback. That's something I discovered with that. And that's kind of how I take most of the products I make now, make sure that I absolutely love it, and then I can ship it out. But then there is also the argument, which I am still grappling to this day, is shipping before you're ready. And people saying like, your judgment, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really all that matters is user feedback / what other people say. So I'm still grappling on experimenting on who's actually right, that kind of stuff. But maybe a balance of it makes sense. But I forget, from that moment on, I was like, entrepreneurship is pretty cool. Got my first taste of it. And I want to explore this path more, at least for now. Yeah.
And then, so that was junior, senior year of high school.
Yeah, and that was senior year of high school.
And then you decided to apply to M&T because for the entrepreneurship match.
So I ended up getting into CMU and UPenn M&T. And I mean, it wasn't too hard of a decision, but I'm really glad I did choose this place, because then if I went to CMU, I would just be like a nerd, I think. Which isn't a bad thing, of course, but it's something that
we certainly are nerds still.
I guess, yeah. But yeah.
And along this journey, did the cancer research fade, or you think it's just that you have priorities that you want to do right now on the way to get there?
I personally believe that if I really want to make an impact in my dream of solving cancer, I would need a ton of money. So I'm on my way of doing what I think I would personally enjoy while like getting to that spot. And when I know that like I can actually make an impact in solving cancer, I'm gonna start doing it. Yeah. But I still love bio research and everything in between still to this day, and read a lot into it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you keep up with like certain innovations in bio.
I told you about dream diffusion, actually, right?
Yes, you did actually. Yeah.
But we can review. We can recap it.
For what is dream diffusion? Yeah.
So dream diffusion. It was an interesting paper. I don't know, was it like a year? I don't know. I would. It's been a while, but at least 6 months ago, I think it was written. Basically, the thesis of it is, what if we could see the images of what is happening in your dreams? So like if you were dreaming about like a horse would pop up, and we could actually observe what someone is dreaming about and what images keep popping up, that kind of stuff. The way the researchers did this was with transformers, of course, diffusion. And basically you'd have a person look at a ton of images, and when you see an image, certain neuron pathways would fire, and we could, while you're awake, we could observe that. So then when you sleep, those same neural pathways will fire if that image pops up again. So it's still in the very early stages, I'd say. It's definitely not perfect. And gathering data for dream diffusion is crazy slow and crazy hard. But something interesting that I read about. And honestly, the most interesting thing I've like read about in terms of like bio / like I guess in this case it would be BCI. And I really think I might do like a senior like thesis on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be very cool. Like
yeah.
trying to create a system similar to dream diffusion.
Or at least contribute to the dream diffusion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
With my agency, I think I would like want to. I think I could actually like maybe delusionally contribute to that BCI research. We'll see, but
I definitely think that's possible as well. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that. Have you seen the show Pantheon?
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh wow, it's about uploaded intelligence. Like, what if we could upload the human brain onto a computer and then simulate it and clone it? You would love it.
Okay.
It shows the implications of, what would such a society look like? How does a person change if the substrate of their intelligence, and you can't really comment on the consciousness, but the substrate of their intelligence is computational instead of, neurons.
Okay.
And the reason I bring it up is because another interesting, like, brain upload adjacent paper that came out was this lab uploaded a fruit fly's brain, and they constructed a simulated fruit fly with an environment outside of it. They let the uploaded brain control the fruit fly in the environment, and it was able to like operate as a typical fruit fly would. Essentially, this is like showing successful brain upload of a fruit fly's brain. Granted, there are probably, I haven't read it in depth, and usually these things tend to be exaggerated, or maybe like they're missing some levels of rigor.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did some hack somewhere.
Overfitting.
Sure, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Still though, like very impressive. Like this is, as people say, like this is the worst it will ever be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's interesting. This is like research?
Yeah, this is research. Another cool one was someone trained, I think it was a lab in Australia. They trained neurons on essentially connected to a chip to play Pong. So the neurons would control, their firing would control in what direction the paddle moved. And I don't know what the learning mechanism was, but essentially the bundle of neurons learned to play Pong connected to this computational interface. That was also quite cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. All this neurotechnology.
Dang, interesting. Okay.
One thing I like to ask people, because I think it gets to their notion of what like an ideal person is, or essentially who they want to become, is very simple, which is like, who is someone you admire like most?
Elon.
Most? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
I want to see a lot of myself in him. And like his whole story is he built a lot of cool stuff, and then he would just invest it back into building more stuff. And I see parallel of me trying to solve cancer as him doing SpaceX, because SpaceX was the thing that he always wanted to do ever since he was young. And he was building all these cool stuff to, I guess, jump, like, in terms of money, I guess, jump towards that goal. And SpaceX almost failed, right? There's that, like, he launched his last rocket that, if it didn't work, he would have nothing left. And thankfully, of course, it worked. and I kind of want to see myself take that path to solve cancer.
Like essentially, like he did Zip 2 first, and like
Yeah, Zip 2.
PayPal, and then he went into
PayPal.
quote unquote deep tech.
Yeah.
You'd also want to do like industries where a young person can have a lot of leverage.
Yep.
And then once you have more scale, like maybe go into like deep tech / cancer research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think are the qualities that you would want to borrow from him? Because I guess the reason I ask this is it's good to learn from someone's life, like their life trajectory.
Yeah.
But it's often there's a lot of confounding variables in that life trajectory, and it's often easier to look at the qualities which made them successful. Yeah, along that trajectory.
I think two things I really admire about him is that he doesn't care and that he just does what he wants.
I think you already embodied those qualities.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just want to be more jacked than him, though.
You already are. You're already.
We'll see if we can maintain it.
Number one bodybuilder on campus.
What about you?
Like who's someone I admire?
Yeah.
I think I have. Okay, I think it would be first a character from this anime called Orb. It's called Orb on the Movements of the Earth.
Okay.
It's about Poland in around the 14th, 13th century, maybe, when the church kind of was a ruling institution of society. And heliocentrism, which is the understanding that the sun is the center of our local system, was banned. Like it was heresy, essentially. Like you couldn't preach that you believed in heliocentrism. The show is about series of people who try to prove heliocentrism to the world, and specifically the first. I relate or love a lot of those characters, but one of them is the first one, Raffle, and he's sort of. There's a lot of qualities I admire about him, but one is like this ability to, like a very classic important quality, which is like think for yourself and go against the grain of what other people think. And it's one thing to say this, like I can say this right now, but it's a very different thing to experience it. Like to actually, to actually think something that no one else thinks. Our brain is hardwired to like doubt ourselves. So like we think, oh, if other people think this, I'm probably wrong. And so like the quality of trusting yourself anyway is pretty impressive. I think also there's this quality of like he finds beauty in the alignment of the universe. So like one of the ways he encounters heliocentrism is from this other figure. I think his name is Hubert. Okay. And Hubert brings him out into the fields one day under the night sky and explains to him heliocentrism and shows him the night sky and explains to him how the heliocentric model is cosmically aligned. It's almost divine in its alignment. And I think the pursuit of science, motivated by that sense of beauty for the world, is extremely admirable to me. Like pursuing science to understand more about the world because you find it so beautiful is like I very much admire that. And then like quite related to that, Demis Hassabis, the founder of DeepMind. Like if you asked me to choose a real world figure, he would be one of the people I pick.
Yeah.
I think because one, if I just look at the papers, I very much respect and look up to. A lot of them are from DeepMind. So he's created just a very impressive organization. But two, I think Demis has done a good amount of things in his life. He's followed this like, let me follow my interests trajectory, but also tried to have an impact on others in a positive way, like a very significant positive impact, which would not happen if he wasn't there. Like he was sort of interested in like I don't want to call it, let's say like creating an industry lab for artificial intelligence. He was like one of the first people to do that. Um, I think that's like very admirable. Yeah, and so he's like level headed, like, and has a well thought out, I think, moral framework, um, as well, and also like quite intellectually open. Yeah,
Open-endedness.
indeed, indeed.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know too much about, but
he's not as he's not as public of a figure as, um, like, I mean, certainly like Elon,
yeah.
and like a lot of other of the big tech leaders.
But yeah, wasn't Gemini like, or I guess Google, they first discovered the transformer and everything.
Indeed. Google Brain, which is not DeepMind, but they're both like AI for Google. And Google Brain was then folded under DeepMind, I believe. So technically they're not the same thing, yeah. Like maybe what's something you used to believe when you were like 5 or 6?
I don't know if you want to answer first.
Let me. I don't know if I have an answer to this.
I don't have
It's
an
actually a
answer to this.
challenging question.
It's really
I think it's a good signal of like I think you want to have ideally a ready answer because it means that you're constantly adjusting your thinking
yeah.
and like view of the world.
I guess I recently changed my mind about my relationship with like getting a job. It used to be that I thought it would be like freedom restricting, but I kind of realized that you can still get a job and still not waste the rest of the time that you had.
What do you think caused that realization?
I think I, first of all, heard too many stories of a job killing ambitions. And second of all, not enough stories of people who actually are still getting closer to their dreams while still having a job. And also, I also realized that you can have a job that you enjoy with people that enjoy.
So in other words, like it's the people that matter,
Yeah.
and the people around you influence,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
who you become. So instead of working against your goals, it can like actually improve your goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said the summer in the hospital in Oregon was like the summer you learned the most,
Yeah.
I thought like that's probably because the person you were working with was just like a very knowledgeable mentor.
Yeah.
Like very, competent.
Yeah.
And it's like
And there's so many of those people around the world, like way too many.
facts. It's kind of like behavior cloning a mentor. You're like distilling them into yourself.
Yeah. It was a hard one to change my mind on, actually, for the longest time. But I'm glad I finally have changed my mind about it. I guess, do you still think that your AI 2027 post is on track? Maybe you can change your mind on that.
It's been about 4 or 5 months. So some of the quantities I predicted were a number of robots out in the world. And when I say robots, I mean like specifically robots with 2-arm manipulators and like either wheels or legs. Another quantity I predicted was like total market cap of like robotics companies. And then another one was the intelligence of the robotics models. Yeah, it's very hard to say because so in AI 2027, they use this very concrete benchmark called meter. It measures how long a model can do a suite of tasks of a given length with 80% accuracy.
Okay.
And so you would expect over time, this should increase. It will go from like 2-minute tasks with 80% accuracy to 5-minute tasks to 10-minute. I believe now it's somewhere around 2 to 3 hours, depending on the model, which is very impressive.
That's really good, yeah.
And the curve has been exponential, by the way, as according to the AI 2027 predictions. They've been extremely accurate. And so for robotics, there's no universal benchmark because tasks are so diverse and arguably the main benchmark would just be um, perhaps like wage hours earned by robots out in the world. Even that, it's hard to aggregate. Um, Another confounding variable is like there's only a few model providers, like non-robotics model providers. In robotics, there's like hundreds of companies out there. And so, yeah, I would want to figure out a way to do a more rigorous evaluation of how good my predictions have been in these like 5 months. Because, one of the purposes of prediction was also like to improve my model of the world, right? Like because you
Right.
predict
Right.
and then see where you were wrong, and adjust accordingly. So yeah, we'll see. But I think I'm hopefully on track. These things, to add some cope, like these things are kind of starting to predict because they, you don't know if the curve is going to go exponential, linear, logarithmic, super exponential, and especially robotics is dependent on progress in um, like
Other parts.
non-robotics
Yeah.
models. Like you can imagine a scenario in which artificial intelligence, researching artificial intelligence, you can call it auto research, just takes off. And let's say if we say now like 50% of AI research is automatable, let's say there's a exponential relationship to the way that curve evolves over time. Then, once we reach 99%, like presumably the rate of expansion of non-robotics AI will just skyrocket, right?
Yeah.
How does that affect robotics? It's like very hard to predict, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Mm.
But at least according to, I think the head scientist of a lot of these companies, they've released statements about how like progress has been surprisingly slow over the past over the past 1 year, which we wouldn't have expected. And in fact, like we shouldn't expect that to be the case later on in the next year, which makes you think that progress is going to accelerate very quickly. Yeah. But we'll see.
Do you want to do robotics in the long term?
That's a good question. I think the way I see it right now, it's hard to not see how auto research or AI automating its own research is not the most important problem. And in fact, if you buy that, kind of there aren't really any more variables which would prevent you from believing the thesis that once AI researches AI, its capabilities will exponentially grow. And in that case, they're only bottlenecked by the energy and compute available, which is also being built out at incredible rates. Once you solve that, then in theory, like you just kick off this process where intelligence explodes. You can apply it to any area, and kind of like on a large scale, it doesn't really matter the area that you kind of choose to apply it because the AI will be so smart by that case. It can apply itself to anything, right?
Right.
And thus, like you would think, okay, then the problem that really matters is just AI auto research, right? And so, at least right now, I think AI auto research is the most important problem.
Mm-hmm.
In the future, if robotics is still bottlenecked, then I would definitely, I think I would work on it because we don't want a scenario in which like, humans are the only ones who can do things in the physical world.
Yeah.
And like AI is the only one working in like white collar / like research land. And then like, humans are stuck doing the physical labor. That doesn't seem like a very desirable outcome.
Yeah.
For the world.
So you're working on auto research for now.
That's, I think, the problem that interests me right now. Yeah. Indeed.
Gotcha. What do you see like as the future in like 3 years or something? Or just like
I think if anyone has an answer to that, it's just future branches off exponentially. So,
like we won't have to work again, that kind of thing. Or
no, I think that's a very high bar. Like that's a really high bar.
Yeah,
essentially, for humans to not work again, it would have to be that humans being involved in the process slows down the process so much that you would just isolate the human. And even then, you still have humans guiding the organization with their desires. Like humans, we can simulate desire with models, but we don't care about simulated desire. We care about the desire that roots from humans. Like, that's our ultimate moral judgment. the source of moral judgment is humans, at least as we consider it right now. So yeah, I think the bar is high. 3 years is a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Dude, I think I might be curing cancer really soon, man.
Have you considered working on like AI for curing cancer? Like right now? Or what do you think is stopping
I
you from
have
doing that?
been starting to think about it, especially for like what I'm gonna do for like my senior design.
What do you think is preventing you?
I don't want to do it alone, so I want to do it with people, and I still want to find those people.
Mm. There are a good amount of pen people at ARC. You know ARC? It's like I think Patrick Collison founded a foundation to do AI for bio research.
Oh, okay.
They make models that predict protein sequences, DNA sequences. I believe a lot more that I'm missing. And they certainly have a non-trivial cancer research arm. But there's a good amount of Penn students who have done work there, or even are working there right now.
Oh, sure.
That'd be
I
interesting.
gotta. I'll
That
look
are
into that.
juniors as well.
I will look into that. Message everyone on LinkedIn.
What do you think you care about in your friends or the people you spend your time with?
Ooh,
Mhm.
this is a really good question. This is a really good question. I love it. I love it. This actually kind of goes into both platonic and non-platonic. I think this question is good for that as well. I see the line between platonic and non-platonic is actually like very fuzzy for me, and I think it's pretty interesting. Like, so of course I'm straight, so if you're a guy and you get really close to me, it's not like we're gonna do any weird stuff, but like the love I have for like a close guy and a close girl are like the same. Like everyone, regardless of their gender, is put on like the same bar for me, and there is no line that separates platonic and non-platonic. Um, if you're a really close guy to me, like I'll genuinely like love you, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Yeah. So there's that. I think everyone's different, and you shouldn't try to change anyone as well. So, and everyone, because everyone's different, they bring out different parts of you, and only that person can do that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Um,
Like the whimsical Kyle or the intellectual Kyle or the uh, introspective Kyle.
yeah, yeah. Like there, with with all my friends, I can't do a podcast with all my friends. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like that's for sure. And that doesn't mean they're bad people. Or they're just different people, right? And so I think of everyone in my life as bringing out a part of me that I want to see brought out. So that's I think the main thing for the relationships I have and for you to be in my life. Now, when we get closer slash like crossing the like, oh, like just get to know you, but like actually like non-platonic, like I trust you to like a really deep extent kind of thing. And of course, I trust everyone that like I'm friends with. Otherwise, I wouldn't be friends with them. But there's that like there's that closer like bond where I feel emotionally like more secure and think bringing out a lot more out of me. And that's another reason why I think opposites attract for me. Because if you're supremely different than me, you make me see a lot more things. And you naturally bring out a lot more out of me.
A lot more that you don't normally see in yourself.
Yeah. I'm still navigating my view on that because of course I have not met everyone that I will have met in my life so far, and yeah, I'm still trying to shape my world model on that. That's what I'd say so far. Let me know if you have any questions so I can like guide my thinking kind of thing.
I suppose one question which would help answer, I think you answered well, but one question which would help answer further is, what are the qualities of the people you've considered yourself closest to?
Ooh.
You're very close with your sister, for example?
Yeah.
And especially maybe what are the common qualities between them might be another one. For some people, it's also difficult to answer this question because their selection of people they know is biased in a certain way, so they can't really compare to the average in the population, which this question is trying to show.
Yeah, true.
Like if all your friends are, relatively most of the people we know are like quite similar actually.
Like if you're at Penn, like you're kind of like self-chosen to be this kind of person already, kind of thing.
Like there's a lot of diversity, but there's also a lot of similarity.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the humans are 99% genetically all the same, but then there's still so much difference. Kind of thing.
Yeah, the reason behind that is like we perceive everything relatively.
Yeah.
So everything is interpreted in the context of its relationship with other things. So even though 99% similar in the scale, if we had an intuition in the scale of the space of all DNA, we would think all humans look the exact same and perceive them as the exact same thing. But we don't think in the space of all human DNA. We think in the space of human faces and personalities. Yeah.
Wait, I still genuinely think that the closer you are to me is literally just a meter of how much you bring out of me. Because if you can bring out a more relaxed version of me, but you can also bring out a more agitated version of me, which are like complete opposites, right? That is like a lot of weight in the relationship for me because you now can like I don't want to say like control, but like you can but you can, and if you're like well intentioned, you can like bring out the right part of me for the right situation, and make me learn more about myself on that like agitated to calm perspective, like I guess thing, meter axis. So literally, like the ideal person, would be able to just like craft the perfect me for every situation, which of course doesn't exist. But yeah, literally everyone, like, yeah, depending on how much you bring out of me, is kind of how close I hold you. Which is why no one has crossed, like, especially if you're a girl, no one has crossed the, not at least not many people have crossed the, like, I guess the non-platonic line, and no girl has, for sure. So that's why, like, I'll stay single for a bit, and like, I'm, I'll see up when I go, well, when I tackle relationships, friendly and whatever not. I ask questions / do things to see what you can bring out of me, and like, okay, I think a good example is for one of my relationships. She's a girl. I act very zesty. Then I also act very like not zesty. Or yeah, and see how she reacts, and that helps me make the judgment on if it's worth being closer to you. It's being closer to her, I guess, in a sense. Yeah.
Are you saying you're wondering if she can enjoy both sides of you.
/ bring out both sides.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
That's a funny example.
Yeah. And I still remember to this day, like, I think I was in her mind, I was pretty zesty for like a month. And then, like, we were brought into a situation where, like, I was like dapping up like a few dudes and like talking in like not a zesty voice, and or not like not in a zesty way. And she was like, "What the fuck?" And, yeah, it's pretty funny. And then I was like, okay, from the way you reacted, I was like, okay, interesting. So that's an interesting way I approach relationships. Do you have any more guiding questions for that?
How do you
Because I'm
think-
still navigating this too. So
Let's say, like, if you were to turn your attention to yourself and like look at how you would be as a friend to yourself, are there things you would change?
I would hate myself as a friend
Why is that?
because I wouldn't bring out anything out of myself because I'm me.
Can you
That's
explain a bit more?
The whole okay. So you know how I see opposites attract. I am like the complete same. So if I were to be friends with myself, I would get no use out of it.
I suppose then I would ask a different question, which is like, if you were your friends,
Oh,
then how do you think you are as a friend? And how could you be better? Yeah.
how could I be better as a friend to them?
Mhm.
Or okay, I don't really. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, I've not thought about that. I'll think about that more after this. One thing that pops into my mind though is anyone that's in my life, I really try to bless them / like make their life better. I remember last week I gave a Steam gift card to one of my friends.
Wow.
Yeah. $20 isn't too much. And definitely not in the long term. But like the reaction he got, because I don't think at least the people I know, like we're too busy / don't really give gifts / like it's hard to think about each other because you gotta think about yourself and all that kind of stuff. So you don't end up giving gifts too often.
Very true. Yeah.
But and it's also because we all realize that our presence is the biggest gift. That like just us being present right now, like I don't even want to ask for anything more than that. I'm already blessed because of your presence, kind of thing. But that being said, I gave a Steam gift card to one of my homies because I had a thought of like I knew he wanted like some more loot in his game. And in the game that we both play together actually.
Which game?
Apex Legends.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we both wanted I guess so he started playing Apex recently and we enjoy it a lot together. He's now left from Penn, so I won't play Apex with him anytime soon, of course. But yeah, he appreciated the gift like so much because like I thought about it and I was like, this is like just a tiny gift that shows that like I want to see him progress in the game and I want to see him get better. I want to see him have more stuff that he can play with in Apex. And it isn't too much effort on my behalf. And honestly, I wanted a study break, so I just went out to buy a Steam gift card for him. So with all these thoughts in my mind, I was like, I'll just do it for this guy. And yeah, technically it is, you spend like a good amount of time trying to get the gift. There's lots of roadblocks to get the gift, blah, blah, blah. You create a whole story trying to get the gift. And the whole story of it, I recorded it all because I went to Target and they didn't have Steam gift cards, so then I had to like find another store to get it, and it was just like a whole journey, to watch, and I recorded it all, and he was like, that video meant so much more to him than the actual Steam gift card because it kind of showed that like I was committed to really get that Steam gift card for him and to get him something that like means a lot to him, or it means a lot to him in the way that it means to me in a sense, if you know what I mean.
Expand on that.
It's like you know how if two people give you the same gift, I think one person giving that gift will carry more weight than the other person for the same gift.
Yeah, if you're closer to someone, then
Yeah, because there's like that meaning that each relationship carries. Like because we played Apex together for a long time, not a long time, but like a lot. Getting that card for him means a lot more than like if I just were to get him the card just cuz. So it was because I was giving him that gift at that time, and it was me doing it. All of those variables together means much more than like if they were separate. I forgot what the original question was.
You answered the original question.
Okay.
Like, what are the common qualities of people you care about? And then it was, how
Oh,
do you think you'd be
yeah.
a better friend?
Yeah, so back to that. I really try to bring out the best out of people and just add to their life.
Yeah. Well said. I have another question in my list.
Wait, I'd love to hear your own answer to it too.
To which one?
To both, I guess.
Like, what do I care about in people, or
like what do you care about in your relationships?
if I look at the people so first I'll say I really look to One Piece as an example of like good relationships. Like,
do you think it's the best anime?
No, but I really like it. Yeah, One Piece is the kernel of like people bonding together, exploring the world in a tight knit, very adept and unique, like diverse group of people. That's like a vision that I quite admire for myself. So like in the people I care about, they do tend to have certain common qualities. Like I think intellectual openness is a big one. Like essentially the understanding that we don't know most information in the world. Like just there's so much information out there, and we are still in Plato's cave, so to speak, on like most things we think we know about. Like in fact, almost everything we know is wrong. I think is like a good heuristic, and that leads to you being very open to new ideas. So you can improve your understanding of the world. I think also, yeah, I think an appreciation of the beauty around us, just in daily life, in nature, in what you're doing, and yourself and others around you. That's like a common thread. Then there's some qualities like, like they're like more surface level categories like intelligence, like ambition. Like, do they have a mission that they want to accomplish? Do they care about helping out? Like, how altruistic are they? Or to what degree do they follow the principles they set for themselves? There's this whole wide breadth of like these things I care about, but I think what I named are big categories.
So if someone doesn't fit that category, they just wouldn't find a place in your life?
I mean, I'm sure I missed a few categories, but
Right.
No, I definitely I approach all relationships with I'll get to know this person and not
100%. Yeah.
But it's more like who do I find myself naturally gravitating towards? these are like the qualities I named. Yeah.
Mm.
But I try to be also try to be altruistic and include everyone, etc. Yeah, like be a like leader of sorts who's like bringing people together is what I want to be. Like that's an ideal I have. Yeah, like Luffy from One Piece. He's like that. He has these certain.
I gotta watch
qualities.
One Piece. Bro.
Yeah, he like brings all the people around him together. He has like such a strong sense of purpose, and he attracts people with that sense of purpose, but also his just wide openness and his love for the beauty of the world. In fact, almost all the qualities I named are like qualities of the people in One Piece.
Dang, One Piece, it sounds hella good.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like this radically free mindset is how I describe it. Yeah, like in mythology, there's this notion of like the Monkey King, like Wukong in China. It's like Hanuman in India. Goku.
Wait, what's it? What's it again? In India?
Hanuman. Hanuman.
Hanuman.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like Goku,
Hanuman.
yeah. Goku, Luffy, Aang. There's a few other characters who are also based on this Monkey King. Like you can call it an archetype, just like a kind of like aesthetic grouping with certain qualities. One of the qualities is like this radical love for freedom, and another one is like love for the beauty of the world. Like you imagine it as like this super outgoing, like almost childlike person who like finds everything interesting. They want to get to know everyone. They want to like help everyone they encounter. They're not they're not stuck in the old ways of thinking. They think in new ways, such that they like push the limits of a group of people or of a society into like new regions, like better regions of existence. And they also tend to like be powerful. Like they can also they have weight behind their words and their feelings, right? Um, that's like an archetype I definitely respect. So the the question I was gonna say before is if you could instantly master any skill, like just with the you know with a snap, what would it be?
Speaking.
Okay, that was very fast. Wow.
Yep.
Why is that? And I get the first like what do you mean by speaking? And then second, why is that?
Wait, yeah. So right when you like said if there was one skill that you wanted to master, I already instantly thought of that. Like I was like, just don't use it anymore. But my reasoning is, if you can articulate yourself, you can do anything. And I'm still improving on it. I don't think I was born with the best speaking archetype, I'd say. I was introverted, like to do things myself. And group projects, doing things with people wasn't my thing throughout all of my younger years. And college is a place where I kind of realized I need to speak more / do more extroverted and articulate myself, have these thoughts that occur in my mind. Could be complex. I think we've talked a lot of good topics, and back then I don't think I could be able to express all this stuff. But through a lot of writing, through a lot of meditation, I guess, and just being aware, I'd say, of like speech patterns and like filler words that you use, more things to articulate yourself. You improve on it every day. I think I'm still a work in progress for speaking, but I think it's the most important skill.
And when you say speaking, you mean both the ability to translate your thoughts into words, but also the ability for those words to be like convincing to other people or not.
I don't think I really care about the convincing other people part, but I just want to be able to communicate what's on my mind and for the other person to think the exact same thing that what I meant to say.
I see.
Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of moments
Zero
where,
lost communication.
yeah, there's a lot of moments where there's lots of lost communication. So and I think it's a super hard skill to
Yeah,
really master.
Language is a limited bandwidth medium.
Yeah. So
It can be mastered, I
definitely.
suppose.
And one more thing. I already notice my improvement a lot through doing these podcasts, and from the last podcast I did with Eliu a few days ago, and I watched it back, and I see so many speech patterns that if I never did the podcast, I would never be able to even be aware that I'm doing that. So a big thing for speech is I don't think people in general are aware of their own like lack or like their own like falterings until you watch yourself.
As in using like or something more abstract.
Or just formulating your thoughts coherently. Because I can see myself when I was rewatching the podcast, I can see myself first of all doing like filler words / whatever, but also when I'm trying to communicate this one message, I was thinking to myself, oh, I could have just said these 5 words and it would have captured the same thing and probably even would capture it better and more concise, of course, than the 100-word way I said it. And you don't really ever get to analyze yourself unless you get to speak and watch yourself. And the best way to do that was actually, which I didn't realize, but it was to record the podcast, watch it back, and realize, oh my gosh, like all these patterns that I'm doing. And I've already noticed, like on this podcast, like if you were my first podcast, this would be a really chopped podcast, genuinely. But I've improved and at least caught myself, even in this podcast, doing doing all these patterns that I didn't want myself to do. So,
what was your original motivation for doing the podcast?
well, I just wanted to catch up with people, and this was a good excuse to really deeply learn about them and actually learn so much about them and be exposed to such new perspectives because we all grew up in different places, all that kind of stuff, right? And we all think differently. So it was to catch up with them and really get exposed to different perspectives both ways.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was, again, a really good excuse to catch up with people. Yeah. Do you have any skill that you would master instantly though?
Wait, sorry, I was looking. Skills I would instantly master. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Immediately. Not immediately, but I would say storytelling. Yeah. Think when. Also, for some of these questions, I have a prepared answer because like these are questions I like have built up over a lot of time.
You've done some introspection.
I've done some introspection on these questions.
That's
so if it seems like my answer is rehearsed, it kind of is.
Okay.
But
is this one of those?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, sure. No worries.
But storytelling, because so I grew up watching so much anime. Like so much anime. And that's a big, if you think like who is Anand? A lot of my personality is like a lot of my personality, my judgment of value, and my sense of beauty, and a whole lot of other things are influenced by
sense of beauty.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like everyone has a notion of what they find beautiful in the world and outside of the world. So I'm saying my sense of beauty is very much influenced by anime.
Do you have an example of how anime shaped that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, Free Run. So Free Run's this anime about an elf who lives for a lot longer than humans in a sort of fantasy world.
Okay.
And she sees humans live and die. She sees entire civilizations live and die, and the cycles of history pass. The aesthetic or the feeling that Free Run gives you is this feeling of time passing you by and you enjoying your life and also seeing the beauty in all of it from a kind of not a higher perspective, but from more of a macro perspective.
Okay.
Um, and you see the beauty in time itself, like that time passes, and like that people change over time, and that people, um, you know, people are born, people die, things change, but also go in cycles. A lot of these aesthetics were like highly influential and are highly influential on me and my sense of beauty. So that's an example of like an anime which changes my sense of beauty. Another one is One Piece. This is like, it influences my ideal for what I think like my relationships could be like. Yeah. So the reason I care a lot about storytelling is if I think about, everyone's life is influenced by the ideas they care about. Their judgment of value and what is worth pursuing in life is ultimately either from some biological motivation or from some motivation from an idea which they received from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best ways to transfer ideas of notions of value or notions of beauty or notions of what is important in the world, as it was transferred to me when I was young, is a story. Anime is a story in the form of animation and music. And it happens to be an incredible medium because it's amorphous, as in the state space is extremely large.
Yeah.
You can just represent so many things in this medium. And also you can also measure an artistic medium in how similar it is to lived experience, as in what is it like to live as myself? Well, anime has the visuals, the audio. It's linear. It follows a narrative as human minds construct narratives, which is why people often say that a story is the best way to communicate an idea.
And because it's animated, it can depict a lot more than any human kind of depicted movie / like media.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. I think one other critical aspect of anime is it's from a culture that's like fairly different from America, and so it exposes you to many different mindsets. I think like Japan especially has this like kind of like a sense of care for, this is like a massive generalization, but like, there's a reason a lot of people revere like Japanese products, for example.
Revere.
Yeah, like if you've seen like Japanese stationery, there's like so many fans of Japanese stationery.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that to say, like, I am someone who is influenced a lot by stories, and I think stories are both incredibly beautiful and can have a seriously positive impact. And I think that, yeah, most of all, like, truly a story can be like reach levels of beauty that let you see outside of yourself, and what you're used to, which I think is, incredible. So storytelling would be my answer.
I have like the room for 3 hours.
Oh, it's for 3 hours?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to take 3 hours, of course.
I thought it was 5 to 7.
Nah, it's 5 to 9.
Oh shit! Wait, I actually have a project tomorrow. So
Okay, no worries. I have a question for you. Very interesting that anime shaped your life a lot. Do you want to talk about like?
I think it's both anime and like reading. Like I grew up reading a lot as well, like sci-fi, fantasy, etc.
Do you want to talk about how, like, your idol fictional character has changed throughout your life, and also maybe if it's also reflected in any profile pictures
Of myself?
Yeah.
Profile pictures of my favorite characters. But that's a good question. The way it's changed.
Yeah.
For context, technically the first anime I watched was Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Z when I was like 6 or 7. But
Yep.
the real anime I watched with more emotional weight was Attack on Titan.
Okay.
I think I was 10, like 9 or 10, something like that. I might have been actually younger, like 8. It might have been like 2013. Yeah, maybe I was like 10, something like that.
Okay.
I watched it when I was very young. And then, like, after that, I just started watching so much. I think my ideal characters, like, the list has only grown, essentially. These 2 characters in this manga or anime called Berserk, Guts and Griffith, are a few niche, like, there are a few doctor characters that I admire. Um, there's this hero in My Hero Academia, his name is All Might. He's just like, his goal is to be a symbol of peace, as in to be such a projecting such a notion of hope to the people that not only do his actions help improve society, but like the symbol or who he is, that idea of him starts to improve society so radically as well. I think Edward and Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist, like the brother characters that I relate to a lot, of course, because I'm a brother.
Mm.
Um, Also like Gon and Killua, Gojo
Yep.
and Geto. Um, oh, Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins. He's the lore is he's this human who received uh essentially powers to control sunlight and the sun from an angel, and he represents the sin of pride. So he's incredibly prideful and
The sin.
overconfident, but overconfident to an actually admirable degree, like to where like maybe you want to incorporate some more confidence in your life. And Luffy's a big one. Like that's a big one. Luffy and Goku, but
Yeah.
Luffy especially. Like I think I already talked about that before.
Yeah.
Um, Free Ren and her. Um, Free Ren was one I watched much later on, and that definitely reflected more maturity, because that's a much older aesthetic or understanding of reality. Like most people only experience that aesthetic once they're like very old, like in their elderly years, and they see a lot of like events pass them by and people pass them by. So that definitely changed over time. And I think Orb is also one I watched recently, um, which is, yeah, it's not really a fighting like physical effort story. It's about like mental effort and the beauty of like research and discovering um, the alignment of the world. Iroh from Avatar. There's like this kind of archetype of person which is like the just like goated old man. Like they used to be either like very powerful or competent in their life as a um, young and middle aged person, and then once they grow into elder status, they want to start mentoring the next generation, but they're
Yeah.
still very like strong. So like Rayleigh is like this in One Piece, um, Kishibe and Chainsaw Man. So like Iroh is just like extremely understanding and loving. He cares about not only himself but lifting others up, and has thought a lot about um, psychology and what it means to be a good person, and how do you lift other people up. How do you give them more understanding of the world? Um, Yet he's also this like fun-loving, strong, uh, like entertaining grandfatherly figure. Yeah, definitely admire Iroh a lot as well. I think those are probably like the main.
I see all of them in you, bro.
Thank you, thank you.
Would you say you're obsessed with like anime?
Obsessed. Let's see. Yeah, obsessed has its connotation of like your enjoyment starts to cause yourself harm, or
Yeah.
at least like
I don't
at
mean
least
in a bad way, of course.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like the word,
Yeah.
yeah, has that connotation, or the connotation of like you love something to the point of not irrationality, because it doesn't have to be rational, but um, I think the harm one is definitely like a usual connotation of obsession. So I mean, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed. And like there have been periods where I just like don't watch, especially when I first got to college.
Right.
But certainly had a big impact on my life. And like
Mm-hmm.
I'm very glad.
Were you obsessed? Like when you were
Even then, no. I think
Oh.
I just saw that it was valuable, so I continued it. But like it's not like that was all I was doing
Yeah.
with my time.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like in the same way that most, your childhood, you're most neuroplastic when you're young. And so the experiences you have when you're young impact you and your personality the most.
100%.
And then like there's a certain class of person of which I fall into, which is like you watched a lot of anime as a child and those experiences are your experiences. Like those are the experiences that you had when you were most neuroplastic. And I really like that. Like I think
You got to live 15 lives.
many more than 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just comes with this like great set of values. There's like strong motivation, like desire to like fulfill your purpose, etc.
Yeah,
That's much better.
that's why I love reading, and I have not got to really watching too much anime.
You read?
Yeah.
What are your favorite books?
I think my favorite
Top
book to this
3?
day is Off the Clock by Laura Vanderkam.
I've not heard.
It's just a book of like time management and optimizing the time that you have in this life. Pretty good book. I'm currently reading Cataclysm, which is just written by the data scientist of OkCupid. So it's like dating.
Oh,
Pretty interesting.
this is related to your dating app.
Yeah. Really, really interesting insights. Another Wharton student put me on that. So that was a good reference. And I have a ton of books in my library that I still need to get to. Yeah. But I think the most impactful one, definitely Off the Clock, really shaped how I view time and like managing my time.
Did you read a lot when you were a kid as well? Or?
No, not that much. No,
I see.
Yeah. I really wish I did though. I really wish I did. I think I would consume media in other ways. Like I watched a ton of YouTube.
Oh, that's still good though.
Questionable.
Depends what you're watching, highly.
Like, I guess YouTube Shorts wasn't a thing back then, so just all long form content. So no brain rot, I'd say.
Yeah, like Vsauce and
Yeah.
Veritasium.
Yeah. Ryan Higa.
Yeah.
Would you want to create an anime? Is that like on your bucket list? What?
I think creating a story in the medium I like the best.
Okay.
It's hard to predict even like what mediums will exist in the future, right? But I think like
anime will only get bigger in the future.
You can also imagine this medium that's like, one, I agree, but two, you can imagine this medium that's, I mentioned earlier, a medium could be evaluated on how close it is to real experience, but you can also make enhancements on top of that. Like, and in some senses, like anime is like actually an addition,
yes,
to real experience. But
yes,
you can imagine like experiencing a story that's like, I think it's the Bill machine or something in Rick and Morty, where you live an entire life in VR. You forget about your life outside of the game. Have you seen Rick and Morty?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So should I spoil this then?
This is good.
It's like one-off episode, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But basically, the premise is in this intergalactic arcade. I think it's Blips and Chits. It's called.
Okay.
There's this game called like Ted, and you basically live the life of Ted. It's like this regular guy in like the 80s or something.
Yeah.
And while you're in it, you just forget
that you exist.
And you're Ted.
You're just Ted.
You live that entire life, so like 80 years or something, and then when you come out, you remember everything. It's like some people are disturbed, right? Because you just lived a whole life, and then it'd be like if you live our life, and then suddenly you like wake up somewhere else, and you realize a game or something. But like you can imagine such an experience where like you construct the story, and it seems like the person is making the decisions.
Yeah.
But actually, they're just experiencing the story, and like it's just constructed to be this like beautiful tapestry of a life.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
That's like an example of a medium that could exist in the future, which I think would be both a bit disturbing and also like
Yeah.
room to be like very incredible. Room to be very incredible. Yeah,
That would be quite cinema.
it would be. Yeah, and even like the experience doesn't have to look like this. It could even like take elements of anime that we love as humans and we put them in, like have you seen Ghibli movies?
Not really.
I think there's like an element of nature.
Like Totoro?
That's an example. Yeah, I actually haven't seen Totoro, but like there's an element of nature which anime captures very well. Yeah, like you can imagine how the world could be different in a more aesthetic way. Like, what if the world, for you maybe, like what if the world looked like Valorant?
I wouldn't want it.
Okay. Maybe Valorant doesn't look as good, but there's probably some example you can think of.
Is there? I know there is.
Like, what if the entire world looked like, like Switzerland or Japan, right? Like, we want diversity, though. Like, we don't just want everything to look the same. But, like, I think those regions capture, like, a feeling of beauty that's a bit universal among humans for this, like, specific biome and, like, region of the world, you could say.
Have you played Peak? Or have you seen
I've
Peak?
even heard of it.
Oh, really? It's just, like, biomes. But, like, the art of Peak is very, I mean, definitely not realistic. Definitely not realistic, but it's just, like, it's interesting.
I've definitely seen and read and experienced Peak metaphorically, but not the game. Not the game.
Okay, nothing. Okay. You gonna check that out?
I got to. All right. I think I gotta go soon.
Cool. Do you have any final words?
Final words? Thank you.
Yeah.
Because what?
What? Because we're, Oh, wait. Are you staying here for another year or?
I still have another semester of school.
Okay. Okay. I'll see you next time then.
But my parting words are thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it a lot.
Let's go.
And a handshake.
Wait, what? Oh, there we go.
All right.
Thank you.